So, as I pull up this definition, I'm going to read it out loud. 1 Corinthians 13:4 through 8. Say, love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. As far as what's actionable about that is, are you patient and kind? Are you envious and boastful? Are you arrogant or rude?
Mm-hmm.
Are you constantly insisting that things must go your way? Or are you open to what works best for everyone involved? Are you irritable or resentful? When something goes wrong, do you feel a sense of pleasure when things go wrong? When the wife says something to you and you sit there and you say, hey, that's not going to work, and she insists that she does it her way, and when it fails, do you feel a sense of, told her it wasn't going to work? So based off of this definition here, you can look at your own life, and nothing in here says that I have to like you. Nothing says I have to care about you. Nothing says I have to be married to you. Love is a very actionable thing. I can love my dog. I can love my cats. I can love my bird. I can love my fish. I can love a complete stranger because there's an actionable definition on how to do it. So where am I getting at with that? Is when we start talking about marriage, it's got to be something else when it comes down to what women and men want. And very simple, if you take these basic understandings, and the reason why things are what they are is men want respect, women want security. Just like you were saying, stability. Stability is another way of saying security. A man want respect. Why do men strive so hard to become high value? For respect.
Mm-hmm. Respect, notoriety, status.
All rooted in respect.
Mm-hmm.
All rooted in respect. Because when you walk through a door, no matter where you go, Donald Trump is still Donald Trump, no matter how you feel about him. Obama is still Obama. No, his accomplishments speak for themselves, no matter how you may feel about his politics, things that he did, things that he said. He's still who he is. Donald Trump is still the $1 billion man, no matter how you slice the bread. So that's my point. Is that when you sit there and you look at the word love or the definition and the confines of love really is trash. You marrying for love, that's the basics, the fundamental basic building blocks of do I boast at my accomplishments? Do I shun your lack of foresight? Am I rude to you when you make mistakes? Do I get upset with you, huff and puff and blow the house down? If I work within those confines of that simple definition of what love is, technically I can love anything and anybody. But I mean, technically you love your boss when you go to work because you never sit back and, oh, my boss is idiot. Hey man, you're stupid. You don't do that to your boss. It's funny how the love definition and respect definition almost tie hand in hand.
Can agree. I'm also looking at this other definition as well, which kind of seems kind of more like personal. It says love encompasses a range of
Put it
strong
on the
and
screen.
positive
Put it on the
emotions.
screen.
No problem. No problem.
Remember, we fact check here, cuz.
Yep. So right over here, I'm not looking at this over here because that's something else. But over here kind of caught my attention. It says love encompasses a range of strong and positive emotional and mental states. States, plural. From the most sublime virtue of good habit The deepest interpersonal affection to the simplest pleasure. That one caught my attention because that one speaks, specifically about one, yourself, and then two, of most sublime virtue or good habit. Good habit. What do we classify as habits that would cause somebody to fall in love with somebody? Let's talk about that.
Let's go.
So, good habits. Yes. So, I just looked up habits, 19 habits of a that a good spouse should have.
Okay. Load it up.
I did. Okay. The first one they got on here is communication. A good spouse should communicate openly and honestly with their partner and share all their thoughts and feelings without hesitation. Express love. They should show affection and express love in meaningful ways through physical touch or acts of love. Well, see, now we got to dig into what is an actual act of love because we have the scripture definition of what love is. We have this other definition that talks about the encompasses of what love is from virtue and good habits.
So don't
But now
forget
this
that
one is, go ahead.
don't forget that you have a scriptural point of view and a secular point of view. So
Okay.
when you have a scriptural point of view, it tells you this is this point blank period. Just like it tells you that marriage is between man and a woman, point blank period. There is no. So you look at the world view and you look at this the scriptural point of view, you're gonna get different outcomes. So if you notice that this one right here is going to take you down a rabbit hole, that's going to take you down a rabbit hole, that's going to take you down a rabbit hole, that's going to lead you to that place that isn't there.
Hmm.
Because it's
Hmm.
all about how you feel, which love has nothing to do with how you feel.
There it is. There it is again.
Respect.
Yeah. So we got express love. I really need to. I want to elaborate on that, like expressing love. So I mean, I know we got stuff like flowers and marriage and stuff like that, but what is an actual act of love? All right, listening. Everybody wants a great listener. Point blank. Period. All right. There's the respect. No matter where you go, respect is always going to be there, whether it's in the forefront, whether it's in the middle, whether it's in the post. It don't matter. Respect is always going to be around. Responsibility. Hmm. It's a very good one. They should take responsibility for their actions and apologize when they make mistakes. Now, see, I also want to talk about
Accountability.
accountability, and I want to, express the difference between accountability and an apology. Those are not the same thing. Okay, apologizing, you accidentally bump somebody. Oh man, my bad. Okay, accountability, being held accountable means that it comes with a consequence. It needs to be followed by a consequence. You need to be in trouble. Okay. There needs to be a punishment that comes along with said problem that you caused. That is accountability. Simply apologizing, that is not accountability. Okay. So I just wanted to put that out there because you do have a lot of individuals today that think that. All right. What we got? Appreciation. Okay. That's self explanatory. Time, self explanatory. You want to spend time with the person.
Hold on. Stop there. Stop there. There's things that there's a ambiguity there that I would like to break into a tad bit, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
You one of the busiest men that I know. You know just like I know. And again, some of these things interchange. Because of the magnitude of the work that you do, you don't have a whole bunch of time. And then you got kids, which you have to make time for them individually and collectively. A lot of the thing, and I will argue this tooth and nail, that a lot of the problem what comes down with a lot of relationships is the fact that we're not here when it comes down to how this thing should work. What I mean by that is in your line of work, well, what it is that you do to earn money. If your partner was directly involved, you would probably 2 or 3x your earnings, and or y'all will be able to spend as much time as humanly possible because y'all working on the same accord.
Right.
A lot of times what happens is that we have this modern behavior of she has her thing, you have your thing, and somehow y'all got to meet in the middle. We cannot be moving in opposite directions and think that we're going to somehow meet back in the middle at some point because priorities shift, things change. So
Yeah.
your career has transitioned many times. It's probably in the midst of one of the hugest transitions that it's ever had currently.
Hmm.
What happens is that as a man is starting to increase his value and increase his productivity and increase his earnings and things of that nature, we have a society of women that are not, hey, let me roll up my sleeves and get in there. Help this develop this thing and solidify this thing. And then we both can transition and do what we want to do. Let me sacrifice the next 3 to 5 years to help develop this thing.
Hmm.
Okay, cool. You make a bunch of money. Let me stay at home with the kids for the next 3 years until the youngest one is off to school. And then at that point in time, the oldest one can help out. The oldest ones can help out. They can do certain things. And now I can transition myself back into something else if I want to. Or, hey, we're going to go all in on your thing, solidify that. And then after that, I need you to do the same thing for me.
That is the philosophy that I love. One goal, one body, one heartbeat, one focus. Follow one course until success. That's what focus means. Follow one course until success.
So, and that's why I wanted to stop right there is because of the fact that when we start talking about this is one of the things. And although we started the conversation off about a specific sector of high value, one thing that I've experienced
We're
on
gonna swing
multiple
back
things.
around into it.
You said what?
We're gonna swing back around into it.
Okay, I know. I'm just saying, like, I really wanted to delve into this specifically. Is that one of the things that I've experienced is that, oh, you don't have enough time. Oh, you're tired all the time. Because when you're done working these long hours, you don't have any time to spend. You don't have any time to give. And you don't understand that the things that you are enjoying, the luxuries that you are enjoying, which may not even seem like luxuries to you, but it's stuff that you don't have to work for yourself.
Absolutely.
It's like when is the last time that you actually seen the light bill, the water bill, the rent, the internet, the
Hmm.
cell phone? When is the last time you actually looked at the bill? So those are the luxuries that you don't have to worry about because they're already taken care of. When you're ready to go to the grocery store and go do some shopping and stuff, you don't have to sit there and scratch your head to figure out, is there money in the account to go buy food? You just go buy it. You're not checking bank balances to make sure there's enough
Well,
money in there. You
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 just
already
swipe
know.
away and there it is. Yeah, you just swipe away and there it is.
You swipe and go. So these are certain things about the luxuries that all that hard work provides. But then a lot of us will get shunned for not making time. It seems like we're prioritizing work, but it's like, no, I'm prioritizing family. That's why I work so hard. However, if we
Hmm.
were if we were following the same course, I wouldn't have to work so hard. That part
And
don't.
it's very important, man, because and again, I'm not all super, I guess biblical or and all that, but what I'm saying, there are some things that make sense to me. And when you start to hear, terms like you need to be evenly yoked, and then you start, saying going through your life and your marriage and things of that nature, that's you really start to understand what that means. That makes so much sense.
Yeah, we can't be moving in different directions.
We can't be moving in different directions, man. And you got to understand that, there is a level of complacency, and I don't want to say laziness and nothing like that, but there is a level of some type of comfortability to where, a lot of ladies and a lot of men think that, saying because you got the ring, because you said I do, that means you're safe. If you're not gonna run on the same accord, if you're not trying to move in the same direction, and one spouse is steady moving and growing and steady moving and growing, and there's no type of engagement from you to see what's happening or recognize what's happening, like you said, roll your sleeves up and start getting involved to make this shit move even faster. You know what I'm saying? So we can sail across the waters faster. You in trouble and you don't even know it.
You
Your
know,
relationship is in trouble and you don't even know it because you're refusing to want to get involved with what's, like you said, you don't know what the light bill look like. You don't know what the rent look like. You don't know what the internet, you don't know what nothing look like. You straight. It will behoove you to start getting involved and be and you know what? Let's 10x this thing. Because clearly what you're doing is working.
I mean, it's philosophy to consider. But keep going.
Okay, we got goals, and we kind of touched on that a little bit. One body, one heartbeat. My football coach used to say that all the time. We need to move as one. We need to move as one unit, one body. When that football moves, everybody moves in one direction. Push that ball down the field. One body, one heartbeat, one goal, and that's to get the ball in the end zone. Okay. Again, we already spoke about it. We need to be on the same accord. Focus, follow one course until success. I can't stress that enough. You need to follow one thing. You can't be over there and I'm over here and you over there and they over there. We all need to be in one unit. We need to be in unison. We need to be in sync. Again, dude, all of these are wrapping
Because
together.
I mean,
Teamwork.
they all say the same thing.
Dude, they make it makes sense. I
Can't
mean,
can't
clearly
have
it
a
makes sense.
can't have goals with a partner without teamwork. Like that is actually just like literally this list could have been like 9 things that they just keep saying the same thing over and over again.
Okay, empathy. They should empathize and understand their partner when it comes to problems and challenges. And you know what? I am definitely on board with that. That definitely makes sense. You should be empathetic with your partner. You do want to be understanding. You want to try to understand where they're coming from. What feelings and everything that they got going on. The problem that I have with empathy is that people are individuals are conflating uh feelings with facts. That's where I have the problem with. I have no problem with your feelings if the feeling is based around logic. There's a factual, statistical data analysis, researchable, whatever that can validate that feeling. Okay. But anything else outside of that, I'm sorry, it's trash. You know, I don't know. That's just me, but I'm going to keep going on this
Yeah,
list.
I
You got
won't say it's trash. What I will say is that it's just not for me.
It ain't for me. Sure. That's being empathetic, Mike. Health. And I spoke about this on the podcast where oh man, what was it? Where we was how to be happy about health. You know, saying you being in good health, your spouse being in good health, your family being in good health. Like you need to know how everybody's history is. You want to get with your spouse, you want to get with your partner, you want to know what type of ailments that they have going on in their family. Y'all want to start documenting this stuff. You want to start paying attention to what's going on with your children, what's going on with you. All this stuff needs to be talked about and documented. Okay, grandma had this, granddad had that, auntie had this. Okay, your grandma had this, your auntie had that, your father had this. Y'all, we need to be on point with our health. It goes way further than just eating apples and oranges and bananas and going to the gym. It's way deeper than that. We need to know what type of issues we have going on in our family.
High blood pressure,
You know,
hypertension, diabetes.
yeah, yeah.
The list goes on. Because you need to know what foods to eat to counteract those things. You need to know, the early onset dementia. Do we have an adverse reaction to certain foods, allergies, whatever have you? I mean, there's a lot to it.
Household duties. They should actively take part in household duties and divide responsibilities with their partner. Okay. I'm kind of on the fence about this one.
I'm not. The way I feel about it is that you could transpose that into an understanding that everybody should have an understanding of what their strong suits are and what their assignment should be. What I mean by that is, I don't think there should be a set of circumstances. If we're operating off of teamwork and partnership, like I'm the guy like this. If I come home and there's dishes in the sink, just clean them. But if you've been at home all day, I shouldn't have to come home and see dishes in the sink.
And that's why I said I'm on the fence about it.
Well, again, it's operating off of a partnership understanding that, especially if you know that something irks me, right? If you know that, and again, it's like I have certain levels of empathy for the fact that you have young children. One child might be a complete handful, and I couldn't get to that. I might not have got a chance to get to this. Like, my world may be cluttered today. And we all have our moments to where it's just like, you know what? I'm just overwhelmed. I just need to shut the world down to regroup and collect myself so that I can get back on track. Because if I keep going like this, I'm going to be a train wreck. So I do think that when it comes down to like household responsibilities, but if I am out of the house majority of the time, I shouldn't be responsible for an equal amount of the work. Because you can always say too, well, if I got to be responsible for half of the work in the house, you should be responsible for half of the bills in the house.
That see now you just took the words right out of my mouth. Again, if you don't know what the light bill look like, you don't know what the internet bill look like, you don't know what the cell phone bill look like, you never have to worry about your brakes. You never have to worry about your oil changes. Did Come on, man. Are you serious?
I mean, I do think that a lot of this stuff is based off of like it has good root as far as opening up dialogue to have conversations about different things that we could try to have some level of teamwork. The one thing that I have experienced, and it's like I do say this openly, is the fact that if I, my experience, and I can't speak on nobody else's, but my experiences have been to if I take on a responsibility, you're no longer going to do that. You're no longer going to touch that responsibility.
Correct.
So if I start coming in the house and cleaning up after I get off work, you're not going to start cleaning up before I get home from work.
Correct.
Because the expectation is, well, you always clean up when you get here. So I just thought that you that's just what you wanted to do. So I would say probably like to go along with that particular module is that you have to have conversations with people. And like anything else, you have to not only just have conversations, but you have to spin the block and revisit certain things, especially if things aren't being done to standard, because it's a waste of my time and everybody else's. And last thing I want to do is be rooted in resentment because I'm holding up my end of the bargain and you're not.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a issue. It's not always a major one, but it definitely can be, especially if a guy is definitely taking on his part of the responsibilities, which is paying for everything. That taking breaks, you got to understand that, saying rent, mortgage, I don't get to take a break on that. I'm not saying me, I'm just saying in general. Okay. Men don't get to take a break on the rent, a mortgage. Men don't get to take a break on the utilities. Men don't get to take a break when something in the house break. It needs to get fixed. We don't get to take breaks, but when it comes to dinner and cleaning and all that, saying taking care of children, you get breaks. That's very flip flopped. So just something to think about. Interests. Okay. They should show interest in their partner's hobbies and preferences and even try to participate in some of them. Yeah. Yeah.
I think
I
that's
have no,
self-explanatory. It should be at least.
yeah. Yeah. I got no issues with that. Conversations. They should actively have conversations where they should listen and talk with their partner. Okay. Self-explanatory. We just explained again where you need to come back and have a business meeting. You know what I'm saying? As the relationship moves on, you guys should definitely sit down and have a business meeting and figure out what direction you want the company to go in. Are your interests, with each other still the same? Are your goals with each other still the same? Da 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 da. You got to understand that being with each other is a business. So you got to treat it as such. Patience. Okay. They should be patient with their partner's different antics and habits. Now, this one I'm a little on the fence with as well. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a total difference where you're someone that hasn't been completely healed. You're still going through different traumas and issues and situations like that. You probably shouldn't even be in a relationship anyway. And I don't think anybody should be obligated to be patient with you while you're working through your past traumas and issues and all that. That's not fair to the individual that's with you. You know, More than likely, that person coming in may not have any past traumas or issues to deal with, and they solid and they ready to rock and roll and build something with you. That should not be dumped on them because that will take a toll on them. That's not fair. No one is anybody's therapist.
Okay,
You
so
know, and
here's I agree and disagree. Reason being is because of the fact that I agree because of the fact that yes, you should be doing the work. You should be doing the work, and it's like if you're not, I agree with you if a person is not doing the work, but a relationship takes two to tango. So you know already what you're walking into. So if you accept somebody who has baggage and has things that they're actively dealing with, and you say, "Okay,
yeah,
I'm
that's
cool
on
with
you.
that," all that, oh, that's not fair to them. That goes out the window because you knew ahead of time and you chose to partake anyway.
That's why I
So you
said the person that you're probably dealing with probably may not have any past. I wasn't talking about the guy that 100% openly knows that he's walking into a field full of mines. That guy. If you want to bounce around, saying trying not to hit one, yeah, that's on you for sure. That's self-explanatory. You want to be kind to each other, and men, definitely, love this out of a woman. This is probably one of the most attractive things a woman can have is
hold
kindness.
on before you go before you leave there.
Hmm.
For men, being gentle and kind is not the same as being nice. Being gentle and kind is not the same as being nice. I could be a warrior, military grade, everything under the sun, and still enjoy being around a fresh bouquet of flowers.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I can be gentle with nature. I can be gentle with women. I can be gentle with my approach. And sometimes the more badass that you are, the less you feel that you have to compensate for that. And generally, the more gentle that you are, because like I know I can snap your neck, but I'm choosing not to. And because of that, I don't even have to. I don't even have to go there with you. Kindness is not the same as being
Excuse
nice. Because being nice is when you give nonsense a pass because you want to try to find the easy, smooth resolve. Nice is synonymous with non-threatening, and it'll get you walked over.
I was
Kindness,
about to say that's doormat status right there.
kindness and gentleness can still have an aggressive tone to it because you have the option and you never deviate from the fact that I could and I'm capable, but I choose not to. Always something to remind yourself.
Honesty. A good spouse should be honest and transparent in their communication, even if it involves uncomfortable conversations. Self explanatory.
I don't think that one needs further elaboration.
Support. They should support and encourage their partner during major decisions. Yeah, that's hey, let's buy a house. Okay, well let's sit down and let's talk about it for real. Let's crunch these numbers. Let's see what we got in the savings. Let's see, what type of price range we can possibly, what I'm saying, support each other in that decision. Positivity. I mean, I think I'm almost at the end. They should make an effort to create a positive and supportive environment for their family along with their partner. Yeah, self-explanatory again. That was it.
All right. So with all that being said, the synopsis is that well, what is the synopsis, honestly?
You know what? We kind of, saying veered off a little bit because we started talking about uh the love situation, and then I started looking up, based off that definition of love, of what the actual habits were, and stuff like that. So we kind of veered off a little bit. So I think the synopsis was, really digging deep on these aspects of habits that we found, that we came across. We just elaborated on them. So if anybody actually wanted to know what the actual habits of a good spouse was, that was a great list to, as a starting point. We just elaborated on that list, which will then lead you to love. You know what I'm saying? Because again, as you said before, love is task. It's a development of tasks that lead into, loving something or someone. And these habits were a list of tasks to do.
Yeah. I mean, I look at it like in most situations, we don't have a palatable understanding of what these things are, why they are, and how they actually affect us in our relationships. And we don't really think these things through. We get
Mhm.
into situations based off this pseudo understanding of love, and it's like, oh well, I just can't live without this person. I just love this person so much. I don't know what my world would be without them. And it's literally it's like, hey, listen, every reason that you gave for why you want to get married is every reason why you should not get married.
Yeah, I think that the stigma of marriage, or the purpose of it, has been greatly misconstrued. And I think that if we actually get back to the root of what it was for, we'll probably have a higher, successful marriage rate, than we are now. It's very dismal.
I don't think that.
It's just a thought.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, I really truly believe that at this stage in marriage or at this stage in society, we are at a place now to where we need to be looking at things more so along the lines of how does my thing work? How do you and I work? Because the traditional values of marriage and stuff like that is like nobody's going back to traditional marriage. We're not. And again, it's like when people say traditional marriage, like what are they basing this on? They talking about biblical to where your father and her father match y'all up against your will and there's a dowry given. How traditional we talking?
That's, I mean, that actually still happens, and a lot of people, you know, more across seas, of course.
It
Uh,
still happens now in
yeah,
wealthier societies because of that.
that's what I'm saying. It still happens now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's technically, yes, that's tradition. But I'm not saying that I'd be down for that. You know what I'm saying? I definitely would have liked to have picked my own, hence coming to America, but I definitely would have went somewhere else in New York. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I definitely wait. Okay, so in a sense of tradition, what people classify as tradition is man work, woman make home.
Mm-hmm.
Man work, woman make home. That's tradition. Okay. That's not to say that the woman is not allowed to, go out and kick it and have her hobbies and have her fun and do what she want to do and all that. And that's what it's being painted as the woman gets no say so. She don't get to do anything. She's trapped in the house all day. And that's how they're painting it. And that's not what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. Man work, woman make the home. Okay, I go get the bacon. You fry up the bacon. That's it. You know what I'm saying? And believe it or not, whether men want to admit it or not, the woman technically is the backbone of the marriage because it's her responsibility to keep everybody's mental state in check, make sure that you in check, because if you're not in check, then you can't perform. If you can't perform, then that means you're not going to do well at work. That means you can't bring home the bacon, and it's just a whole trickle effect.
That it is.
So yes, you know what I'm saying. So she has to make sure that you on point. You know what I'm saying. Make sure that you relax, you calm. You know what I'm saying. She's supposed to be the only person that knows how to calm the beast. That's her responsibility is to calm the beast, keep you cool, keep you level headed, keep you fed so that you can go out there, you know what I'm saying, you're well energized so you can go out there and go get it for her again. Because you're doing it for her. You know what I'm saying? You building the life for her.
That's true. That's true indeed.
So that's what I mean by tradition. So yeah, I'm not into the uh this is my daughter. You have a son. When they get older, then you know what I'm saying? No, I'm not into that.
So I think that like, and again, it's like I could have. I'm sure I could have been reaching when I made that statement. It's just more so along the lines of just really trying to understand that a lot of the conversation it gets transitioned so much and rooted in things that they get rooted in a bunch of things that really don't have any real value to them, in my opinion.
Yeah, for
Because the
sure.
conversation is sways so often that whatever we're talking about is not really based off of a one unanimous understanding. It's really based off of a bunch of people's understanding of how things should be, used to be, will be one day. How we get these thought processes that are rooted in different fractions of time. That is like, oh, back in the 1940s and 1950s. Those of us who have never lived in the 1940s and 50s.
I don't know what the 1940s looked like, bruh. I wasn't born.
Well, there.
Wasn't there. Wasn't there. But I'm here now, and I understand that we are now in a different society. Relationships and marriages move differently. It's all different now. You know what I'm saying? So I totally get it and understand that, you know what I'm saying, she could be a breadwinner. It's possible she could be a breadwinner. She's working, she hustling, she's careering up, she's degreeing up. Yeah, perfectly fine. Wonderful. Wonderful. You know what I'm saying? But it's just a level of making sure that there's a fairness when it comes to the relationship. That's all.
And I think that, like most things, the fairness aspect of a relationship should be predicated off of the fact that you are not, you shouldn't be held to the same standard as every other man. You should be held to a standard based off of what your dynamic requires.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what my entire opinion has been about the subject matter, is that you as a man should be held to your own standard. You shouldn't be held to my standard. You shouldn't be held to Bill Gates or Donald Trump standard. You shouldn't be held to Warren Buffett or Elon Musk standard. You should be held to your own standard. And in being held to that own standard, you should be in a position to where you understand that whatever it is that your goals are between you, your wife, and whomever else, it's your responsibility to make those things happen. It's her responsibility to assist you with it.
Yeah. And again, you guys got to be on the same page. So if she's fine with you, you know what I'm saying, working a 9 to 5, you know what I'm saying, making a decent wage, then you guys got to be on the same page and be comfortable with that. You know, that honestly, it really just boils down to the woman. G, you know what I'm saying. I'm not finna act like that is not. You know, hypergamy is a real thing. It's been always has been since the beginning of time, and competition, men competing, has always been a thing since the beginning of time, and that's what it is. So you really need to, recognize and understand that, where you at, if you're comfortable with that, if you cool with it, you know what I'm saying, you want to rock out like that, then you have to make sure that you have a partner that is on the exact same page and level as you, that is cool where y'all at.
Absolutely.
And that's it, you know?
No, and that alone, that thing that you just said right there is about everybody making sure that they are in in the same place with that. I really want to
Yeah.
make sure that if I can't say anything else in this lifetime, is I want to say that goals change, priorities change. Sometimes we may have a plan, and that plan will shift based off of the economy. That plan can shift based on the needs of the children. We may find the education at certain schools to be insufficient. Now we want to go the private school route, or we want to go to another school district. Things change, and you have to be able to sit down at the table and come back and say, hey, based on recent developments, I think that we should be moving in this direction instead of this direction. You got to do it. You got to do it. And people need to be open to researching things
Yeah.
all the way through before they poo poo on it, before they, no, I'm okay, I don't want nothing to do with that. I don't like when we deal with people, or I don't like dealing with people or even communicating with people on any scale who are closed minded to the fact that the plans may need to change. That's just my spiel with that.
Mm. All right. So high value.
Let's close this one out.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. We'll circle back on this with y'all. Or we'll circle back on this for y'all, you know.
So you guys know my take on everything. Y'all know who I am. If y'all don't know who I am, let me remind y'all. Phil Jones. What's your name? It doesn't
Midas.
matter what your. I'm sorry, no. I was feeling my Rocky.
You Rooney Poo Candy.
Hey, for y'all who don't know who The Rock was, Dwayne "The Rock"
It's just
Johnson. If
funny.
y'all don't remember him as a wrestler, oh my God, he was the greatest. Anyway,
Hmm.
this is the Extraordinary Man podcast. You guys know who it is. I am Phil Jones, and you know the greatest number two, number one, 1.5 extraordinary man is who is sitting right on the other side of me in a completely different state, in a completely different house, in front of a completely different cameraman. State your name.
Man, I am Midas. Make sure you put a king in front of that. Let's go.
All right, I'm being extra.
Still
Still going. Hey, listen, you
going.
said let's go. You didn't say let's stop. Still going. That's like a T-shirt that we got to put up. Still going. Got to get the let's go and got
Still
to get the
going.
still going.
Let's go. Yeah.
All right, guys, that's our time. Peace.